You know what I got? Yeah. We all got potential. Uh-huh. Yeah. We may not all have money, but we all got potential. Potential to be anything that we can dream. Yeah. So get ready. Here we go. Whoever dreamed that I could be a great example of what man can achieve. If he believes and pursues that dream in time, potentially, in time, potentially. Whoever knew that I could go to any place my heart says so. I'm gonna make it deep inside, I know, in time, potentially, in time, potentially.
Nothing is impossible to them that believe.
If you believe,
Conceive, achieve, and live by the dream.
live by the
Walk the
dream,
talk and talk the walk and
mean
mean
what you say.
Throw the old
Throw
life,
the old life away.
throw the old
Throw it away. 'Cause I've got
potential
to be what I dream.
what I dream.
I can see,
I can
yeah.
see.
I believe
I believe
I can be, yeah. In time, potentially. In time, potentially. Whoever knew that I could go to any place my heart says so. Gonna make it deep inside, I know. In time, potentially. In time, potentially. Nothing is impossible to them that believe. Receive, conceive, achieve, and live by the dream. Walk the talk and talk the walk and mean what you say. Throw the old life away. I've got potential to be what I dream.
what I dream.
I can see it. I believe I can be
I can be
in time, potentially. Time, potentially. In time, potentially. Oh, in time, potentially. You gotta be patient. In time, potentially. In time. Blessings and blessings. Greetings, greetings, good people, and welcome, welcome, welcome to tonight's presentation. This is our Blessed Business Coaching Tips with me, your host, Bishop Wayne Malcolm, the Business Bishop. Always excited and delighted to be a part of your life and your legacy through this ministry. I want to celebrate, congratulate each and every one of you that are joining us live. And I thank God for you. I'm going to encourage you. If this is your first time, then be the first time you hear this. If it's not your first time, then you know that we want you to utilize the chat box as your virtual voice. And if we say anything that resonates with you at a deep level, or that constitutes a light bulb moment for you, an epiphany, an aha, a eureka even, then I want you to send up fire emojis in the chat box, heart emojis, hand claps, or just go right ahead and testify. Let the redeemed of the Lord say so. And just go ahead and utilize the chat box as your virtual voice. I want to encourage everyone to subscribe to our channel and to click the bell for notifications, because we are posting at least 3 times a week, and we're trying to pick it up because we've got so much content to share for kingdom citizens, kingdom ambassadors, kingdom-minded believers, and we want to be a blessing to you and anyone else that wants to look into the wonderful world of the kingdom. Please subscribe to the channel, like the post if you like the post, and please share it. Grab a link, throw it out in your WhatsApp groups, put it up on your social media, let people know the Business Bishop is sharing some kingdom mysteries and secrets and gems. And particularly, in this particular presentation and on this particular day, we dedicate the post to entrepreneurs. all right, to business owners, even business operators, all right. So perhaps you want to be an entrepreneur, like a entrepreneur, or perhaps you are a solopreneur, you're self-employed, kind of doing everything yourself. Perhaps you are a business owner and you are managing a business system complete with software and stuff, and perhaps you are an investor. Wherever you are, welcome. We celebrate you. We thank God for each and every one of you. And for those of you who know, you know that I believe that business is a spiritual adventure. It's a spiritual adventure because it requires resources that are within you, okay? Like faith, like courage, like energy, like creativity, like determination, focus, resilience. All of these things are spiritual qualities, and business is going to bring it out of you. And so we want to bless you, and I'm going to bless you tonight with a spiritual law. And it is one of those spiritual laws that absolutely is responsible for the outcome that we call success. It is a cause of the success effect, and it's really important. So, are you ready? Let me check my sound effects. Are you ready? I think you're ready. Well, let's dive in. Today, I'm going to talk about the law of conversion. The law of conversion. As I say, business is a spiritual adventure. It's a journey, and it is spiritual in nature. And there are several spiritual laws that are responsible for the outcome that we call success. And some people think of these as mental laws and mindset laws. I think of them as spiritual laws, and I want to deal with a very important spiritual law. And when I say law, I want you to think of it in terms of, let's say, the laws of nature. Okay, the laws of nature do not discriminate, right? They're indiscriminate. They're merciless in some respects, because for example, the law of gravity, doesn't really care your age, your gender, your ethnicity, your political persuasion, your religious affiliation. It's just one universal law that applies to everyone, the law of gravity, and to everything in the physical world. And so when you discover a law in nature, best thing you can do is get with it, right? Or get run over by it. Best thing you could do is work with it or have it work against you. So I'm going to share this law of conversion, and my prayer is that you go ahead and work with it, because if you don't, it simply works against you, because it is a law. It is a spiritual law, like physics studies the physical laws, the laws that govern the physical world. Well, spiritual laws govern the spiritual world, and the spiritual world is the original world. It is a higher world, and physical facts tend to bend to spiritual truth. Woo! So, what am I going to cover? Are we going to give some context to the concept? I'm going to talk about wisdom as a skill. Wisdom as a skill. Then we're going to look at God's gift. I'm going to talk about seeds, keys, and prayers. We're going to look at the internal audit, and then I'm going to talk about mental money. Okay, mental money. So here goes. Wisdom. So this is going to give some context to the concept. So wisdom is a skill or an ability. So I want you to begin thinking about wisdom as a skill or an ability. And it's important that we do this. Why? Because I think biblically, wisdom is the way to wealth. Certainly, the richest man in the Bible was notorious for his wisdom. That is King Solomon, and arguably the richest man that ever lived. He was a wise man. He was blessed with wisdom. And he certainly taught that wisdom is the way to wealth, that wisdom should be coveted and desired and sought after more than money and status symbols and land and possessions, because he realized that wisdom is a root and material success is a fruit. Okay. And so once you accept that wisdom is the way to wealth, then I want you to begin to think about wisdom as a skill or an ability. Okay. Many people define wisdom as the application of knowledge, the application of knowledge. So there is a difference between wisdom and knowledge. Okay. So knowledge is what you know. Okay. But wisdom is what you do with what you know. So in this respect, wisdom is an action word. It is a verb. It is something that we do, and it is evident not in our thinking. It is evident only in our doing. So you are not wise in your thinking. You are only wise in your doing. Okay? Very, very important. So important that I'm going to give a sound effect. Yeah, you are not wise in your thinking. See, what you're thinking is your knowledge, but it's your application of the knowledge, the decisions you make, the choices you make, the actions you take, how you follow through, that determine your wisdom. You're only wise in your doing. What you think is knowledge. Wisdom is the application of knowledge. It's what you do with what you know that makes you wise. Woo! And of course, a lot of people, right, know a lot of things, but don't actually do things that reflect what they know. And of course, that reveals some sort of internal conflict, maybe a double mind. Maybe you know something at a conscious level, but subconsciously there's a battle. And so it leads to inactivity. There's no action. But wisdom is evidenced by your actions, what you actually do. So it is a skill, a skill. And here's what the skill actually looks like. The wisdom skill is the ability to convert what you have into what you need. The wisdom skill is an ability to get the results you want with the resources that you have. It's the ability to get what you want with what you need. Someone said, oh, so wisdom is just about getting things. Well, it's about getting outcomes. It's about getting the results that you want. Okay? There is no wisdom without a desired outcome. So, for example, the very first test for King Solomon was a child custody battle between two women, both claiming that the living child was their own. So, of course, what Solomon needed was an outcome, right? And the outcome that he wanted was that the true mother would be the custodian of the child. Okay, would have custody of the child, the true mother, and that the lying mother would be exposed. That was the outcome he wanted. So what did he have? Well, he used what he had in order to get what he wanted. Okay, so this is how his wisdom was evidenced at a very early stage. I'm going to look at what we have, and I'm going to use it to get what we want. So I'm going to convert what I have right here into what I want. And what I want, according to Solomon, is I want the true mother to have custody of the child. And that's how his wisdom was evidenced. Now, when it comes to business and entrepreneurship and wealth creation and economic redemption, when it comes to these issues, the wisdom skill works the same way. It's an ability to convert what you have into what you need. And I call this the critical skill. It is literally the critical success factor, the critical skill. Because with this skill, this ability to convert what you have into what you want, what you have into what you need, okay? With this, you will never be poor no matter how little you have. What do you think about that? If you have the ability to convert what you have into what you need, you will never be poor no matter how little you have. You'll have a little, but you'll have the ability to convert that little into a lot. All right? You may have 5 talents, but you'll have an ability to convert it into 10 talents, right? You may have a seed, but you'll have the ability to convert it into a harvest. That's the wisdom skill, and it's the critical skill, and it means that you'll never be poor no matter how little you have, because whatever little you have, you can convert it into what you need. On the other hand, without the skill, without wisdom, You can never be rich, no matter how much you possess. So you may have lots of resources available to you, opportunity available to you. You may have leverage, for miles, right? You can have it all, okay, and still be poor, become poor, lose it all because you don't know how to turn what you have into what you really want. Woo! And here's a scripture. Here's a scripture to illustrate the point. It's Proverbs 13, verse 23, and it says, "Much food is in the tillage of the poor, but there is that is destroyed for want of judgment." Okay, so that's Old English, that's Authorized Version, King James. So let me paraphrase in the Malcolm Modern Edition, right? There is much food in the unplowed fields of the poor, okay? But it's destroyed for lack of judgment, okay? It's destroyed for lack of judgment. That because those fields remain unplowed. So you've got all of the potential there, right? It's talking about the potential food that's available, but it never materializes because they don't know how to turn what they have into what they need. And this, by the way, is the reason why. It's the reason why some of the richest people in the world live on some of the poorest continents. And when I say poorest continent, I'm talking about natural resource, right? I'm talking about agricultural lands and minerals, right? Some of the richest people in the world live on some of the poorest continents, while some of the poorest people in the world live on some of the richest continents. So they live in continents where the soil is just rich, right? And capable of producing the most nutritious fruits and vegetables known to man. They live on land that is mineral rich in terms of gold deposits, diamond deposits, oil deposits. It's all there, and yet it's home to some of the poorest people. Why? Because wisdom is about converting what you have into what you need. And so the reason why some of the richest people in the world live on poorest continents while the poorest people in the world live on rich continents is that the richest people in the world actually know how to exploit an opportunity. They actually know how to convert natural resource, minerals, farmlands into food, products, services. They know how to convert. And so what gives them the advantage is that they are knowledge rich, even though they're living on poor land. Whereas if you are knowledge poor and you live on rich land, you will never exploit the opportunity that God and nature has made available to you because you're knowledge poor. So the answer for poor people living on rich soil is to become knowledge rich. All right? To become knowledge rich. That's what begins to level the playing field. Because true wealth is in the knowledge and the power of the conversion. It's in your knowing how to use what you have and convert it into products and services and opportunities and platforms. And that, my friends, is quite a mystery. Let's dive in. See, God gives us natural resource. We convert natural resource into products. All right. So believe it or not, God doesn't give you iPhones. He doesn't give you iPads. God doesn't give you mobile phones. God did not give us these things. What God gave to us is natural resources, planet Earth. Okay. What we do then is we convert natural resource into products. Okay. And we convert this through mining, through processing, through engineering, through creativity, innovations, inventions. All of these things are wisdoms or abilities to convert a natural resource into a valued product. All right. We convert internal resourcefulness, right? So natural resource we convert into products, but our resourcefulness, that is our internal know-how, our skill sets, we convert those into services, right? We convert those into services. Now, the products have value in the marketplace and the services have value in the marketplace, but the products wouldn't exist unless someone converted the natural resource into products, okay? So we wouldn't have chairs and tables and sofas and furniture unless someone looked at a tree and said, actually, I see the potential of this tree to become, I can see chairs and tables and furniture and boats, and I can see things in this tree. And so their wisdom has converted the natural resource into products that have value in the marketplace. Likewise, when someone has know-how, they know how to do something, they know how to get a result, they know how to solve a problem, they know how to resolve an issue. They have know-how. Then only when they convert the know-how into a service, right? A service package that is priced and promoted and positioned, right? Only at that point is the wisdom evident, because they've converted their internal resourcefulness into a package of services that have value in the marketplace. Is this making sense? Woo! So this brings me to the subject of seed potential and key power. Seed potential and key power. And here's the point. Something you already have from God is the key to everything else God has promised you. I'm going to say it again. Something you already have from God is the key to everything else that God has promised you. If you recognize the seed potential of the things that you already possess. In other words, if you recognize that what I have in my hand right now doesn't meet my need, therefore it is my seed, okay? And my seed has the potential to produce a harvest through a process, and therefore I am going to convert this seed into a harvest. All right? It's about understanding that once you recognize the seed potential in the things you possess, well, then you'll know that something you already have from God is the key to everything else that God has promised you. Now, David says it this way in Psalms 37, verse 25 to 26. He says, I've been young and now am old. Yet I have not seen the righteous forsaken, nor his seed begging bread. He is ever merciful and lendeth, and his seed is blessed. Wow. So what he's now talking about is the prosperity of the righteous. The prosperity of the righteous. He says, I've never seen the righteous forsaken, or his seed, his offspring, begging for bread. To the contrary, he's generous. He's a giver. Okay, and his seed is blessed. Now, why is it that there is this blessedness of the righteous that David says, look, for my whole life, right, I've never seen the righteous forsaken or his seed begging bread? Well, it is simply because, righteousness is not simply right standing with God. It is also right thinking and right actions and right doing. It's the rightness of things. And see, when you think right and you do right, actually, this tends to prosperity. And so thinking right starts by saying, okay, look, this little thing I have actually is the key to everything else that God has promised me. It has seed potential, meaning it can become a harvest, or it has key power. It can open a door for me. Important thing to know is that keys don't look like the doors that they open. Keys don't look like the worlds they give you access to. And seeds don't look like the harvest that they produce. So something small, something seemingly insignificant, something you've overlooked, something you've undermined is actually the key to your harvest. It's the seed for your harvest. It's the key to a new world or a new level of living for you. Woo! This means you are never down to nothing. What did I say? I said you are never down to nothing. You always have something, but you must recognize its seed potential and its key power, right? You're never down to, I've never seen the righteous forsaken. Now, if you are righteous by faith in Christ, if you have embraced the righteousness of faith that Christ made available to those that believe the gospel, right? And guess what? You always have something. You are never down to nothing. Let me show this to you. Matthew 13, verse 12. For whosoever has, to him shall be given, and he shall have more abundance. But whosoever has not, from him shall be taken away even that he has. I want you to notice the latter clause. But whosoever has not, from him shall be taken away even that he has. There's an anomaly here. There's an anomaly here, because if he has not, then there's nothing to take away. But if there's something to take away, then he obviously had something. Okay? So who is it that said he has not? It's him that says, I have not. And therefore, he loses the thing he has. Because he doesn't recognize, respect, or value the little thing he has to the point that he calls it nothing, he loses the little thing that he has. And the little thing that he has was the seed for a harvest, or the key to a new world or a new level of life and living. If you call your something nothing, you will lose that something. If you call your nothing something, you will increase and multiply. Never allow yourself to say, I'm down to nothing. Instead, you should look around. Look around you. Conduct an internal audit to see what you actually have. Because what you have in the house is the key to everything else that God has promised you. Prayers for prosperity don't work. What? What did Bishop Malcolm just say? Woo! Prayers for prosperity don't work. One, if you ask God for things he's already given you. I think we can agree that if you keep asking God for something that he's already given to you, that's evidence that you don't recognize, realize, value, or celebrate, or are even grateful for what you have. Okay? Number two, prayers for prosperity don't work if you don't recognize the answers when they come. So God may have answered your prayer for prosperity. How? In seed form or in key form. Okay? So I guess we can relate to this in the modern world, right? If I were to give you a car, I couldn't put the car on your lap. I couldn't do that. That would kill you. Okay? For me to give you a car, the only way I can do that is to give you the keys and tell you where the car is. I have to give you keys and location, and when I give you keys and location, once I've given you the keys and I've given you the location, the responsibility is yours to locate the vehicle and to activate the vehicle and drive it away. So we ask God for things, and what he gives us is keys and locations, right? And then you carry on asking him for things, right? Even though he's given you the keys and the location, you're asking him for things. It's a sure sign you didn't recognize that the answer had already been given to you. So how does God answer prayers? This is really important. And it's going to help me to kind of wrap up this law of conversion. How does God answer prayer? Well, if you pray for things, God will give you thoughts. Woo! I need some glockenspiels. If you pray for things, God will give you thoughts. Why? Because thoughts are the origin, first cause, and source of things. Things came out of thoughts, right? Things originated with thoughts. We know this from the Bible. In the beginning, God. Okay? John 1:1, in the beginning was the Word, right? There was the Word before there was the world. Okay, the world came out of the Word. So things come out of thought. And so if you pray for things, God will give you thoughts on how to get the thing. And of course, if you don't realize that that's God answering your prayers, you won't go about converting those thoughts into those things. Woo! If you pray for increase, guess what God will give you? God will give you ideas. It's for you to recognize that this is not just a good idea, this is a God idea. To cherish it, to value it, to action it, to act on it, to decide, and to follow through. Number 3, if you pray for victory, God will give you a strategy. God answered your prayer for victory when he gave you a strategy for victory. If you pray for outcomes, God will give you opportunities. If you pray for prosperity, God will give you a plan. And so it's not, if you are waiting for God to give you a finished product, okay, you are misunderstanding the nature of things and the nature of man, okay, because man is created to create. And this means that it is your purpose and your gifting to convert natural resource into valued items and products, to convert internal resourcefulness into services, to convert what you have into what you need. That is your capacity that differentiates you from animal kind and puts you in the God class and puts you in the God kind and puts you in the thinking class. See, God gives you seed and soil. You create the harvest and you make the bread. God gives us trees. We create chairs, tables, and boats. God gives us rocks. We mine for iron, brass, silver, and gold. So God gives you, okay, what you ask for, but he gives it to you in seed and key form. You must now have the wisdom to recognize this is that in another form. I now need to convert the form that it's in, which is thought, ideas, strategy, opportunities, plan. Convert that into things, increase, victory, outcomes, prosperity. Woo! Woo and wow. So what do you have in the house? What do you have in the house? In other words, conduct an internal audit to look at your life and see what it is that you have. Because something you already have from God is the key to everything else that God has promised you. Certainly in 2 Kings, the widow woman was challenged by Elisha, the prophet. What do you have in the house? She said, I don't have anything except a pot of oil. That pot of oil was the key to her debt cancellation and demolition. It was the key to her prosperity. It was the key to her legacy. It was the key to a new world and a new level of living for her. But it was a little pot of oil. It takes wisdom to recognize the seed potential and the seed potential and the key power in little things that you possess. So start with the internal audit. What do I have? What do I have? Instead of saying I have nothing, say I have something. Now look for what it is that you have. So I've got 5 things here. Number 1, my knowledge, right? My knowledge is my know-how. There's things I know how to do. I know how to do certain things. I know how to get certain things done. I know how to secure particular results. I know how to resolve particular issues. I have know-how. That know-how can be repackaged as a service that helps others who don't know how. Come on now, you've already got a product, right? The product is your know-how. If it can be packaged, priced, promoted, positioned, woo! What about my skills? That's the things that you can do, right? So maybe you can fix shelves. Maybe you can maybe you can mow lawns. Maybe you can fix broken electrical items. Maybe there's software that you can write. What can you do? Because those skills, right, can be converted into a service that has value in the market. My wisdom. What about warnings and ways that work? If you look at the DNA of wisdom, the structure of wisdom, it's comprised of a warning and a way that works. Okay? So, what about your wisdom? Is your wisdom primarily in the area of health and wellness? Is it primarily in the area of career and finance? Is it primarily in the area of love and relationships? Is it primarily in the area of personal development? What are your warnings and what are your ways that work? Because they can be packaged into services and even into products that have value in the marketplace. So you're never down to nothing. You always have something if you can convert the something you have into what you need. Number 4, what have I survived and how did I do it? Okay, well, if you survived something and you know how you did it, then guess what? Your story can become a lifeline to people who are struggling with things that you have survived. They are stuck where you have now learned to thrive. They are blocked by a barrier that you've already broken through. Which brings me to point 5. Where do I thrive right now? And why am I thriving? Because if you can document that, you can package that. This now becomes a service. It becomes products in the arena of knowledge commerce, or what I call the industry of ideas. So in this respect, you are never down to nothing. You always have something. And if all you have is know-how and skills and wisdom and life lessons, and that's all you have left, right? Then guess what? There is an industry that trades in knowledge, right? Knowledge commerce, and it's a mega billion trillion dollar industry. And so if you have know-how or skills or expertise or experience, all of that can be converted into products and services. And people do this for several reasons. Reason number 1, people do it to build a personal brand, right? So they'll sell knowledge and wisdom and advice and information and skills and expertise in order to build that personal brand, that following, so that you become the go-to person in that field. Okay? Or they do it to create a brand extension. So maybe you're really good at real estate right now, or you're good at investing right now, and you actually still, you can still create an educational arm of your real estate that teaches people how to do it properly. You can create an educational arm of your trading that shows people how to do what you do. People are in this knowledge commerce realm, literally making money, right, out of knowledge in their head. Marketing your business, it's a great strategy. Establishing your movement, it's a great strategy. My point is this, that everything that has value in the marketplace was once a natural resource or a innate resourcefulness of people, of individuals, right? Know-how, skills, and abilities in people. Every product and service that has value in the marketplace today was once a natural resource or natural resourcefulness. It was converted, okay, into products that could be brought to the marketplace, converted into services that could be brought to the marketplace. That's the law of conversion. And this is why I say to people that there is more money in your mind than there is in your hand. There's more money in your mind than has ever been in your bank. There is a limitless supply or an unlimited supply of money in your mind, if you know how to get it out of your mind and into your hand. And that's the subject of my webinar this week. My special webinar this week is on Thursday, the 25th of April. It starts at 11 p.m. That's late UK time, and which is 6 p.m. Eastern time. And it's going to be different times for different time zones. So you just want to figure out what is 11 p.m. UK time. Nevertheless, when you register on the Zoom platform, it'll tell you what time it is for you. And it's totally free, right? But I'm going to unleash a wave of revelation concerning the relationship between mind and money, and how you can get money off your mind, right? So too many people got money on your mind. And if you got money on your mind, trust me, that will close up the vault of money that is in your mind. It's something else you have to get on your mind in order to get the money from your mind. So I'm going to show you what to have on your mind so that you can get money from your mind. And I'm going to challenge you to get money off your mind and instead get the money from your mind. I'm going to teach you how to do that in the webinar. Several hundred people have already registered for this webinar. Let's make it a record-breaking attendance. In other words, don't just register. Register and decide you're going to show up. You say, oh, but Bishop, what about the replays? Well, yeah, we do make replays available. But you miss so much in the replay because the replay is edited, right? So you miss all of the stuff that we do before, the questions we answer afterwards, all that. You miss it. So you want to be live on the webinar this Thursday, the 25th, 11 p.m. UK time. And I look forward to sharing with you. Now, the link to register is in the description beneath this post. Okay, so look for the description and you will see Mind Over Money. That's the webinar, Mind Over Money. And I want you to register for it right now and make it a date. Don't be late. God richly bless you and smile on you, give you peace and prosperity. Thank you for listening. Thank you everyone that was live, and thank you for everyone that replays, everyone that comes in and catches up. Thank you. Please subscribe, like, and share. I love you. Shalom. Peace out. We'll see you in the next Kingdom Conversation.
Time potentially.